Alright guys, this is going to be a longer video. I had a subscriber ask me how to hook up the head unit. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I started off, I'm a car mechanic too. Despite what anybody says, if you're running a 12 volt system on a tractor, you could run anything that goes on a car on a tractor. Radio, subwoofers, you do anything. I mean, sometimes you need a bigger battery. I got that battery over there. It's a car battery. When I get my subwoofers, I still haven't gotten them yet. When I get them, I'm going to be hooking up the car battery and everything because the amp's such a big amp. And I'm also going to be hooking up an alternator for a car. It was turning into a racing tractor. It does fly. It's going to have a lot of engine modifications. I'm spacing the carb and everything out. As far as it goes, though, polishing the head, all that stuff, doing all the works to the engine. I might even get a bigger engine. Not sure yet. Like I said, it's more for show. It's not really... This tractor's turning into something for show. It's not really going to be raced. It's just going to be a fun little toy. I'm going to be racing the kid with a quad, my buddy with a quad. That's actually how it started. My friend didn't think I could make a tractor go as fast as a quad. Or beat a quad. So, got into a little competition. So, this is my head unit. It's a cheap Boss. I got it from Walmart. 200 watt, 50 to each speaker. It's cheap. It was like 30, 40 bucks. Came in a week. It's got SD, USB, auxiliary, CD. When you buy them, they kind of come. I mean, it's as simple as could be. It's 3 wires that make it power, and then you just got the speaker wires. It's like hooking up an audio to a house. I mean, as far as it goes, it's really, really simple. I know you got all these wires, but it's really simple. It's going to be hard to describe it because I do have it all hooked up. I did pull it out. First things first, the subscriber had a Husky tractor, I believe he said. I asked him what it was. Now, Husky tractors don't have this big lift right here. A lot of them are down low. So, I don't know where you'd want to put your receiver or your head unit. If you could put it here, maybe. Or, you might have to make something, maybe build this up a little bit more and build it into that. But I was able to actually just cut a hole right here. Cut the square out. I used the cutoff tool. Use my cutoff tool. Kind of dulled it out, but use my cutoff tool for an air pneumatic, but kind of have the thing off right now. Very simple. This one, it's got all the wire descriptions on it. Black is always ground. No matter what you get, black is always ground. Actually, if you look at the speaker wires, when you look at the speakers, the wires that go to the speakers, it actually says, it says on there, ground. I mean, it doesn't say ground, it says there's a black line on it, and those are the ground. I mean, there's all those colors, but they are color-coded. There's always a line on the speakers, so the black is ground, which goes to the ground of the speaker, and then the positive, which usually just has a white line maybe or something. I mean, mine is a black line, so I just go by the black line. As far as it goes, this was really, really, really easy. Because it's got these 2 little port things here, and they just slide out. So my system set up that it's a 12 volt to the remote, and it's red. My 12 volt to the remote, which is the switch. Now with the remote, what you do with the remote, I don't know if I can open this up and I see the radio's in the way. Your battery, right here I got this, it's for a car, and I just ran the wire right through here. Because now I could actually use this when I put my bigger battery on. I have to cut a hole open and everything. I gotta make it a little bit bigger. When you run the remote, you run a wire to the switch, which is a 2-prong switch. 2 prongs. I mean, it's got 2 prongs coming out of it. When you run it to the one side of the switch, I can't really show you. I don't have any switches laying around. I have one laying around. I don't know if I could show it to you. That was my speaker. Right here. Switch. Simple switch. You got your 2 prongs. What you're going to do is you're going to run the from the head unit. The red wire is going to go into this. Now, that's my head unit. It's red. It should say, they should have it should be have a sticker on that says what it goes to. Mine says 12 volt ACC. Now, this goes to one end goes to the prong, the other end goes to the this one has a wire that goes, and you run it back to the battery, to the positive of the battery. Positive meaning plus, the red. And all you do is flick the switch, turn it on. Now, mine is yellow for the positive of the battery, where it's always constantly hooked to the battery. That one, you don't hook it to a switch, it stays on the battery. That one hooks right into the battery, and you just wire, I don't know if you can see it here, I used wire caps, the wire attachers thing. You can't really see it because I used all different things. I used wire caps to go for my speakers, and I've got a pretty well jerry-rigged, but, you attach the wire to it, you patch it to the constant power, to the 12 volt, and you run it back to the battery, positive of the battery. Always, and the black, the ground, always goes to the ground. You either connect it to the battery, or you can connect it to the ground. It don't really matter. If you connect to the ground, don't work, you just run it back to the battery. Now, how it works is, when I flick my switch, my head unit comes on. Now, I can manually turn it off from this. Actually, you have to hold it in. Like that. See that? And then I have the head unit to the switch. So that stands for it turns off when I flick that switch. Like I said, all it is mine's yellow, constantly to positive, and then it says constant on it, and that goes to the battery. Now with the car, you go with the color on the car, if you're hooking it up to a car, because it's going to be in the tag, so this might come up on a car video. You just run it into the car wires on the car. With the tractor, you're going to run constant 12 volts, you're going to run the yellow, constant 12 volts. You're going to run the, sometimes it's purple, mine's red. It goes to the switch, two-prong switch. One end to the one side, the other end goes to the battery. I know I tried looking this up. This is for golf carts, anything you want to put a radio on. It's for everything. Mine has the accessories, that's why I could hook an amp up. It has the auxiliary, the RCA. It's as simple as that, man. You run the ground to the ground, you run the constant power to the 12 volt, and then you run the remote to the switch, and from the switch to the battery. And then whenever you flick the switch, it turns on. Your speaker wires, as simple as that. The speakers have the two-prong. Let me grab one of my speakers that I have laying around here. A speaker right here. See how it's got it's a car speaker. You got the two speakers right here, the two inputs. This doesn't, freaking magnets. This doesn't say the positive or the negative. You just sometimes have to play with it, because this doesn't say positive or the negative. But negative would go in one of these, positive would go in the other one. It's simple as that. No matter what, you're not gonna blow your speaker out if you put it the wrong way. It just sounds crappy. You gotta play with them and see what sounds better. That's all you do, really. I mean, it's as simple as, they say, mine has actually for, in the wires, it says, front left, front left, front right, rear right, rear left. It's simple as that. It says everything is coded, and everything is in the description. It's not like it was really simple. It actually took me like an hour to do it. The thing that took me the longest was cutting the holes for the speakers and cutting the hole for that, because I was really trying to get it perfect, so that slides right in there. Underneath, I don't have, I don't even know if you guys could see that. I don't think you can. I do not have it boxed in. I didn't even think about boxing it in. It wasn't main priorities. Like I said, though, it is extremely simple to do. Just run the remote to the switch. The other one, you hook a wire to it, run into the 12-volt battery. When you flick the switch, the head unit turns on. And then there's another wire, which constantly goes to 12-volt, and then you have your ground. That will turn the head unit on. And then you hook up your speakers. Then you're set. Now, I can't tell you how to hook up an antenna because, well, I use my iPod. I don't use that antenna crap. Ain't my thing. I don't use antennas. I don't know. I don't like listening to people talk on the radio and listening to a little bit of music. That's that. Like I said, I have an Ugelhorn. Let me see if I can grab my flashlight here. I have it jacked up still. I never even worked on the front end. It's like 12 degrees in my garage. I fixed my gas tank. I don't know if you... My gas tank had a leak. How I did that, actually, was I took a heat gun, and I melted where the crack was. There was 2 cracks. I took the heat gun and filled this up with water, full of water, and capped the cap. Put a piece of tape over the cap and flipped it over and put it in my vise. I took a heat gun, though, and sprayed this. And obviously it was full of water, so you didn't have to worry about exploding. I heated this and took my finger and went like this. Now it was hot, it burned. But you just rub it over. Just rub your finger over the plastic. And I did it on both sides. Now, one thing about electrical tape, if you take electrical tape and heat it, it turns into an amazing, like, adhesive stick. I mean, it is awesome. Just take it, put it on there, heat it up, push it down. I put 2 pieces. That will save the leak of your gas tank. I mean, it saved me from buying a new gas tank, and it doesn't leak anymore. I have my Ugelhorn. If you could see it, you kind of can't. Oh, that's why I grabbed the flashlight. There you go. Ugelhorn. That is my Ugelhorn. Ugelhorn. Simple. Oh, and there's my ground. I made that so I could run all my wires into it on my ground. It's like a little ring. There you go. You can see it better that way. And I just wrap them around that. It's really simple. That was actually pretty good. Good thinking with that. I give myself credit for that one. With that, with the head, or not the head unit, the Ugelhorn, you have a positive that needs to run to a fuse. When I say fuse, I'm meaning a fuse like this. Like your starter charging fuse. The fuse is like this. You need one of these in the middle of the wire, or the Ugelhorn will not work. Any horn will not work. You run that to the battery, to the switch, and then from the switch to the positive of the horn, and then you have your negative on the other side. There's my horn switches right there, the button. Amp meter, when you're using a head unit, you want to use an amp meter a lot. And sometimes if you same with lights, when you're running higher powered lights, because I got the 2 headlights there. When you're running them, I put a tack meter. Mine didn't have one, so I bought a tack meter. Or not a tack meter, that's I'm getting a tack for it. I don't have one. An amp meter. I bought one of these for like $4 at Harbor Freight. I have it hooked up. That's simple too. Positive goes to one end, ground, and then the other end is ground. And I hooked a switch through the positive to it. So that stands for I don't drain the battery because it's not remote or anything. Just 2 things. Run one wire to the amp, the other wire goes to ground, and I have a break in the middle for the positive. I hooked up the lights. I showed you the video on how I did the lights. From the main headlights, how it goes at the base. I ran it right into the speaker, the left-right. The positive went to the positive, the negative went to the negative. Sorry about got a text message from someone. Lights, positive. Sorry. Positive went to a switch, the lights went to a switch. The other end of the switch went to my battery, positive of battery. Ground went right to that little ring for ground. I got this gay oil thing. This guy gave it to me, and I thought I'd use it. I don't know. I thought it would look cool, but it's a piece of crap. I got my carb here. My carb's a little bit modified. It's actually going to be, there's going to be a spacer put in right here. So it spaces out. When you space a carb out from the engine, the fuel flows in, and it takes a little longer. You could get higher RPMs with it. That's the only perk to it. You only get higher RPMs, but, because it's more, and it's also better it's a cooling remedy too. It cools it down a little bit. Speakers, drilled the hole, cut the wire through the frame, came in through here, hooked them up to the rear speakers. I can't really be that informational with it, to be honest with you. Really can't be that informational with it. It's kind of one of those not information. You can't really get informational with it because it's so simple. When you actually start working on them and stuff, you'll learn. It's really, really simple. I mean, a lot of people won't even watch this video because it's so pointless. It won't really help that many people out. My lights, my rear light goes to that. It's the switch because I have that for the switch. See? The lights go on when you flick the switch. That's all. It's in the actual ignition. That's going to be changed. I'm taking these wires and hooking them up to my fog light switch, which all that is. If you want to hook up lights, extra lights to that, here's the old wire. Run it up to this. I ran up to this, cut the wire right here, stripped it, and tied it into it, and just taped it together. Then again, though, once I hooked up the front lights with the subs, that's going to be taken out. The ignition's going to stay because I like key ignitions. I don't like that push button crap. I think it's kind of gay. Sorry. Don't want to cover that up. That's all really to describe with it. Positive constant. It says constant. That goes to the battery positive. It just goes right to the battery. The positive ACC, I can't remember the name of it. That goes to the switch. The other end of the switch goes to the positive. Negative's black, runs right to the ground. Negative is ground, same thing. Speakers, simple as that. Amp meter, positive into the one end, negative to the other end. I think it says positive and negative on it. Lights, positive to a switch, switch to the negative. Or switch positive to the switch, positive from the switch to the battery, positive, and then negative from the lights go right to the ground. If you need me to get in any deeper into it, I can. You gotta explain to me how much deeper you want me to get into it, because honestly, that's as deep as I could really think of right now, because I know when I wanted to start this project, I was lost. I really didn't, I've worked on cars, I know how to hook up car stuff. I wasn't sure, never really actually hooked up front to back car system. So it was kind of a learning experience for me, because there were no YouTube videos or anything. I looked up golf carts, quads, all that crap. Couldn't find crap. I hit a mailbox and smashed my hood up. Smashed the whole tip of the hood. So, took a piece of metal, bent it, put it on the inside, drilled 2 holes. I kind of cleaned it up a little bit. You can still see it was cracked. Put this here. My tack's going to go right here. Drill the tack in. Hook up a tack. You have the positive to the battery. Now, wait. Yeah, I got to remember how this goes. I believe, yeah, you have 3 wires. You have positive, negative, and then you have the battery. The tachometer has another wire that comes down to your kill switch, or your kill wire, and you tie it into the kill wire, and it works as a tack. The tack will start working. Yeah, you'd think it would kill it, but it doesn't. That's my battery. My big battery. It's for my amp. I didn't get that stuff yet, though. I gotta get it. Chainsaw bike. Scooter. Yep. Underglow's not here yet. Underglow's actually going to be hooked into the amp. Positive to the amp, negative from the amp to the lights. Positive goes to the amp, negative goes to the negative of the amp. The lights go with the base. Simple. Simple, simple, simple. Here's your video, man. That's as far as I can get. If you want any more information, then send me a message. I'll try to explain it through chat. If not, then I'll get more in depth with it. There's not much really in depth with it, though. Sorry it was so long. Alright.